During a construction project, you'll manage different types of resources. You will have what's called human resources or labour. You'll have machinery resource, which is also called large plants or plants. You'll also have materials, and you'll also have subcontract resource. So initially you'll have what's called human resources or labour. So that's the physical people on site or the staff to manage the people on site, and it's how you manage them on a construction project and what systems you've got in place to control your staff or your people. And then separately you've also got large plant machinery resource, so that will be your excavators, diggers, dumpers, and how you order them and what specification you need. And from a materials point of view, you will have different specification of materials depending on the design. It's how we order that on site and what time we order it at, and what's the phasing and what's the sequence of the order. That's what a project manager needs to account for. And subcontract resource is where you will engage a third party or another company to build a certain aspect or a certain trade. So that could be a joiner to do the doors or the skirting board. It could be a plumber to do some of the cold water installation into a building. So that subcontract, you'll package out different bits of work and pass it on to another company. There's different processes and tools you can use to manage resource. When you are managing labour, for example, you will have mix between direct and indirect labour. Direct labour is labour that's employed by the company, in which case you will have a human resources department. Potentially, if it's a smaller business, it will usually be the director who will manage the staff. They will also advise them on what project they're going on. Unlike other businesses and other industries, it's project based on how you allocate your resources, opposed to smaller projects throughout the week. It'll be a longer commission or a longer period of time. Indirect tends to be where you approach an agency to secure a certain resource. You'll tell them what the qualifications you require and they'll bring that person on board. From a plant point of view, you will have obviously large plant, which will be some of your diggers, excavators, and you also have small plant, which could be hand tools, pneumatic drills. From that side, we tend to have a resourcing manager on site or within the company who will coordinate all the different project managers within a business, what they require on a job before they start. This person will usually have some sort of wider buying agreement with a plant supplier, and they will manage that relationship with plant suppliers. From a materials point of view, because materials are produced in geographic regions, that's different. That will be more your construction manager, who will, depending on what area of the project, he'll try to source where the local concrete manufacturers or suppliers would be. So that's more of a project-based resourcing as opposed to a business-wide. It's very geographic, because you obviously are not going to order the materials in Glasgow if the project's in London. Subcontract tends to be the role of the project team, and it will be usually the quantity surveyor who will procure the subcontract package with support from the construction team to outline the scope, and the project manager as well. So subcontract will be more at a project level, materials will be at a project level, labour and plant tends to be within the business and within the main office as opposed to in individual projects. So I see more reliance on machinery resource and off-site manufacturing as opposed to traditional build it on site. Partially because in certain cities the space you've got available is more congested, so you don't have necessarily the working space and the movement. Say London is a great example. You don't physically have the space to have nice big areas and working space and a lay down area for loose materials. It all has to be manufactured and brought in and just built up like a Lego, for example. One of the biggest things in resource management is people. I'm a big believer on the workplace isn't diverse enough. in construction, so we really need to get people in, encourage more people in the industry. There's most of the best engineers I've ever dealt with tend to be certain kind of female engineers who got so much detail. It's fantastic. It's in like some of them are really into it, but there's a lot of barriers for people because the culture is changing, but it's not changing fast enough. So for me, I think I'd love to see more females in construction because, to be quite frank, it offers a different perspective, and it's just numbers as well. We do need more people in.